if you want to have some great corn, this is where you got to be. You got to come out to the cornfield. Now there's lots of these in the area where I live, and getting some great corn, putting it on your smoker can be just an absolutely wonderful treat. So let's take a look and see how to do this. But when you see these signs, you know it's going to be good. This is fresh corn right out of the cornfield. They set these up, pay on the honor system, and look at this. They even have Facebook, Instagram, and all the different varieties of corn that's available. This is pretty cool. What we're going to do is buy some yellow corn and also some white corn, which is my favorite. We're going to peel it out of the husks. We're going to put it onto the smoker, and then a few of my little tricks to make sure that this stuff tastes just absolutely awesome. Doesn't get any fresher. So step one is actually getting the corn, which you just saw. And the next step is to shuck it. So already shucked these. You can see we've got about half a dozen ears. This is a white corn. I like the white corn a little bit better. It's sweeter and just kind of a favorite, but your preference, white, yellow, there's many different varieties now also. So pick what you like. So after we're shucked with the corn, we pull off all the little silks and everything. And the next thing to do is just to put it on the smoker. So I've got this thing cranked up. We're using a little Green Mountain Davy Crockett, which is this small little guy. And we're just gonna put it right on the rack. We're gonna set this for 250, and we're gonna run it for about 20 minutes. We're gonna turn it over and run it for another 20 minutes. Then, as a special bonus, for viewers today only, we're gonna actually cook it a second way. So one recipe that I've been doing is just to cook it at 250. Another one is just crank that baby up, go up to 500 degrees and really almost get more of a sear on it. So we're gonna do that. And that one's gonna require a lot less time and a lot more turning of it. And I think that we're gonna get a lot more caramelization on the outside, a lot more, really a char on the outside of the corn by cooking at those higher temperatures. We'll see what we like the best. A lot of folks just do some butter and salt, but we're gonna kick this up a little bit. I think you'll like what I do. So let's get it started. Okay, so we're at 225, so I just put 3 of them in here. And we're gonna save those other 3 to do at 500 degrees. So now it's just 20 minutes on here. Gonna turn them over, and then another 20 minutes. We'll pull those out. Gonna have some nice smokiness in there. So about 22 minutes in here, and we're ready to turn these guys around. So just a simple rotation here. And button it up, and gonna go for another 20 minutes and see what we've got. All right, so there's our second 20 minutes. And these should be ready to pull off. You can see we've definitely got a little bit of smoke on there, so that looks good. Out of the 3, it looks like the one that was further over to this side didn't get as much smoke as the ones over here. I do have a downdraft. This is like a Don Gudke downdraft made especially for these Green Mountain grills. And what it actually does, it kind of directs the smoke to go down to the grill level, the grate level, before it can come up and come out, as opposed to just coming through and then kind of going out the top. This is also something that I saw in a video by Aaron Franklin, where he talked about how he designs his smokers so that the smoke actually is kind of trapped in there a little bit. So we'll see. I am going to crank this up to 500 degrees. And in the meantime, I'm going to do a little prep on this and get this ready to go. And then we're going to take those 3 ears and see what they taste like when we cook them at 500 degrees and maybe get a little bit of a char on there. So while we're waiting for this to come up to temperature so we can do the 500 degree test, we're going to case this out. I'm going to grab one of them that was a little bit smokier, that was a little bit closer, and I'm going to put on my favorite things for making corn. So butter is number 1. Gotta put some good butter on there. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Just going to do enough to give a little taste test. And I love this Walker & Sons Slapio Mama. It's a seasoning from New Orleans, and just, I think, really has a great taste to it. I put that on absolutely everything. It's not sponsored by them. And then I put some Parmesan cheese on it. Since I started doing this on my corn, I can't eat it any other way. So, here's for the taste test. Really good. The Parmesan cheese comes through, the Slapio Mama comes through. You get a slight smokiness to it. It's tender. I did notice that this dried out a little bit, probably just because of the amount of time that was going through in there, because we had that on for a total of 40 minutes with a lot of air blowing on there, so it doesn't surprise me that it's a little bit dry. But really good. Okay. My thoughts are that we could probably use a little less time, not for doneness, but just because it tended to dry the kernels out a little bit. So eager to see this hotter and faster and how that works. Also, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try some of this chili lime. This was a Trader Joe's spice that I picked up, and I use that on some smoked Cheez-Its, and that came out wonderful. Just love that. The lime has kind of a freshness to it. The chili has the bite to it. So a little bit of that chili lime on there. And of course, a little bit of Parmesan. So let's give that a try and see what that tastes like. Okay, you gotta try that. Chili lime seasoning blend from Trader Joe's. That lime in there just added just a little bit of kind of a little pep to it. That little citrus in there. That was absolutely wonderful. I think that's gonna maybe Slapio Mama. Have to turn it around. Maybe that's gonna be second place for corn. Definitely good with the Trader Joe's spice. So we're up at about 250 right now. We're going to let this guy get up to 500. We're going to put those other 3 years in there. We're going to just let him go a short amount of time, keep an eye on him, keep him turning, so that way we can not overdo them, don't want to burn them, and we'll see what those taste like. Okay, we did just hit 500 degrees on this, throwing a lot of smoke because we're using a lot of pellets to get it up to that temperature. I don't know if I've ever had this up that high before, but yeah, it's hot. Yep, that is toasty. We're gonna open that up. We're gonna put 3 ears of corn on and quickly close it. So now we're gonna just kind of keep an eye on that. We're gonna rotate it. We're probably not gonna have very much time on there, but we're gonna get this guy really cooking up. Right, we've been on here for about 4 minutes or so. Gonna open that up. Gonna rotate those around. See that we do have a little bit of color on there. I think that's from that super hot racks in there at 500 degrees coming in contact with the corn. Obviously we don't have any fire coming up to actually come in contact with the corn and to grill it that way. All right, I think it is time to pull these guys. We're gonna open that up. This one is the one that was furthest away from the exhaust. See a little bit more color on this one. And then this one definitely looks really good with the char on there. Since I pulled these out of a 500 degree smoker, we're gonna give these a few minutes to kind of cool down before we put the butter on here and give them the taste test. All right, gave this a few minutes to cool off. I'm gonna grab this with a paper towel. And that does look really good though, doesn't it? Got some nice char marks on there. Put a little bit of butter on. And we'll test it with both of the same spices that we tried. First, a little bit of the Slapio Mama. And we're gonna Put the Parmesan on. The Parmesan. Whoop, that's a lot of Parmesan. Okay, here we go. This is the taste. Hands down, this is the way to do it. These kernels are juicier. Yep, it's absolutely no question. This is the way to do it. Crank it up to 500 degrees. Turn them over a few times in there to make sure that it gets cooked evenly. You get a little bit of color on there. I can taste the smoke on there. It's juicier. It's better all the way around. Okay. A little bit over on this side because we have to give equal time to that chili lime, which I think is my new favorite. Yeah, that lime just really comes through nicely. And the Parmesan cheese. Hands down, this is the way to do it. Just look at that. That is some good looking corn. All right, so that's a wrap. Fresh sweet corn, 2 different ways. Low and slow, total of 40 minutes at 225, or we did about 12 minutes at 500 degrees. The 500 degrees, the clear winner. But what you may want to do is cook both of these and then cut them off the cob and mix it together. So that way you're going to have the juiciness of the hot and fast, and you're going to have the smokiness of that low and slow. That's probably the best way. But on its own, this guy right here is my choice. I hope this inspires you. I hope you figure out what you're going to cook in your backyard this weekend. And as always, thanks for watching.